WNBA player props here on PrizePicks. Before I get started though, there is a link in the description below of this video to sign up for PrizePicks. They will match 100% of your first deposit. Also, there is a Discord link and a Patreon link in the description of this video as well. But let's get into it. We have a two-game slate here, WNBA, Indiana versus Dallas, New York versus Phoenix. Again, both these teams, all four of these teams, not really at the top of the league as far as just standings go. So hopefully these games are pretty competitive. Just injury notes, Diana Taurasi still a game time decision. She's questionable for Saturday's game. She missed Thursday's game due to a quad issue, so this will obviously impact some player props here from there. Tiffany T. Mitchell is also out for Indiana, which should not impact anything too crazy, but nonetheless, wanted to share those four total teams playing, three total player props here. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, not a gambling expert. These are just plays I'm looking at making, but let's get right into it. So the first play that I like is going to be a rebounding prop. It's going to be Natasha Howard at 8.5. She's actually hit this over 4 of her last 5 games, and just across the season averaging 7.5 rebounds on the season here. You can take a look at her game log. Rebounding, she had 4 straight games of 12, 10, 10, 10, 9, and 11 here. 7 and 6, 8, 10, 11, 9, 10. Really just being that force in the paint for the New York Liberty. She's averaging 15 points on the year, so 15 and 7 line for Natasha Howard, having a great season in my opinion. But I just love this matchup against Phoenix, who they give up the third most rebounds to opponents at 36 rebounds per game. They get dominated in the paint offensively by bigs as well, so you could also take a look at her PRA or even her fantasy score. But at a line of 8.5 for Natasha Howard, who's hit this 4 of her last 5 games, I do love the over here on this one. Natasha Howard 8.5. I'm taking the over. The next player prop I like is going to be a fantasy score, and it's going to be Kayla Thornton at 22.5. Now this has been an easy over for her last 5 games, so I'm pretty surprised actually that the line is set at 22.5. She's at 32, 23, 35, 28, and 27 fantasy points, 5 straight games here of green. And now that doesn't always constitute here for it to be a good play. Previous 5 games not always constitutes that. Also, again, I should mention that variance in WNBA has been extremely high as of late, so it's just been crazy. But she has been getting strong minutes, 35, 35, 33, 27, 32, and 31 minutes per game. Doing a little bit of everything, getting these peripheral stats of stocks, blocks, and steals together, and then scoring the ball at a nice clip, rebounding the ball at a pretty decent clip, and getting assists. She doesn't really need to do too much to hit this fantasy score over. I mean, a line of 9, 7, 3, 1, and 1 is pretty modest, but again, those things with no turnovers, her turnovers have been pretty limited, resulting in a pretty high fantasy score pretty quickly. So I like the over here on Kayla Thornton against Indiana, who just don't play a ton of defense at all. I'm taking the over here on this one, 22.5 fantasy score. And the last prop is going to be turnover prop. It's going to be Victoria Vivians at 1.5. I think this should honestly be 2. I'm surprised it's at 1.5. There's a chance this could bump, although we haven't really been seeing WNBA props bump as much as, obviously MLB. But Victoria Vivians, she's hit this 4 of her last 5, at least 1.5 turnovers. 2 has 0 here, 4 and 3. On the season, though, Victoria Vivians, I mean, she does have the ball in her hand quite a bit, being a primary playmaker for this team. And you can see, I mean, she's got turnover games of 5, 4, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 3. So she turns the ball over, I would say quite a bit. I mean, not saying that she's a bad player or anything, but when point guards, shooting guards, they're primarily turning the ball over. The most players that have the ball the majority of the time, and she really does for this Indiana team as far as guard play. She's the main playmaker on that roster. So again, also with T. Mitchell being out, I think that just gives more playmaking opportunities for Victoria Vivians, which will result in more turnovers. So these are the 3 total player props I like on the WNBA slate. Natasha Howard, 8.5 rebounds. Kayla Thornton, over 22.5 fantasy score. And Victoria Vivians, over 1.5 turnovers. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these plays. Please hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and as always, have a great day.